So a little explanation on how to drift week. So this is the back of my car. This is my air mattress that we used at NOLA on Drift Week 2. I brought a camping pad just in case I need to like work under the car or some stuff. I have a pillow, I have a sleeping bag that's always in the car even when I'm doing laps, because it has almost no weight. And I wanted to stay clean because it's stuff that you're sleeping on. As you can see, we're on the DMG bar because we run full coil suspension. So that's always in the car. I bought it all at Walmart just before we went to NOLA, because we crashed there in the convention center building. So I always have this tote in the back. I bought it on this trip. I had another one before. It basically has like a box that contains all kinds of nuts and bolts and things, just in case you need them. I've got this diff bolt for someone that can back out a little bit. And there's some assortment of O-rings because it's cheap and doesn't take any place or weight. Got some spare tie rods, inner tie rods. Obviously spare Wisefab stuff, because like we can get Wisefab to everybody very quickly within 24 hours. But in case I crash the car or something, I just don't want to wait it out. I got some gear oil always with me, redline shockproof, spare brake lines. Got the rear arms, front arms. Obviously this is the clutch band that we took off on this trip, but the other one was probably pretty good, so we just kept it. Some stuff to wash the car if needed. I always have some coolant right here. Got that out of Duarte. Chelsea got some extra Motul, and got some ATF, long life ATF. So that's basically it. I got some wheel kegs because it's like nice if you park your car on an incline. And there are some leftover hoses, like radiator hoses, because they sometimes go bad. And I have a knee pad for when I have to work on the car. So that's basically it. There's a small assortment of tools. I need a lot more of them. So basically just the spanners I need to check some things, Allen keys, those kind of things. So it's a little bit messy, but there's very limited space in the car. So as you can see, the tote fills up nicely. Got the fluids over there. This box contains some spare axles, like the M3 axles or M3 specific. I got a deal on them, and they're used original ones. We had a couple of problems with the M3 axles back home when we started putting power through them. So I figured, again, they're not heavy, they don't take up a lot of space, so I'll just take them with me. There's a helmet that I have, which is a carbon sparkle helmet. It's open face because I really like that on these types of deals. I always use a balaclava because it's super easy to wash. This helmet has radio provision in it, so it's got like the speakers and the mouthpiece, which is something that we don't use on this trip, but like it's very nice that it's not so loud in the car. This car is actually quite quiet, so you don't need it at all. It's a very comfortable helmet, and yeah, I like this because on Drift Week you do so much driving. When we were up at the Freedom Factory, it was super hot, so I was kind of happy that I had this thing on. So that's obviously super easy to wash, and you can wash a helmet. So this is one of the least modified cars that I have. It's basically an 04 M3. It's a pretty nice solid car to start with. Obviously we put the Wisefab suspension on. Feal, I like the Feal suspension so much. Like that's really an eye-opener for me to drive it on the road, because I have it on all my drift cars, and it's just super nice to drive it on the road, because after every event I just loosen it up a couple clicks and it basically feels like an M3 road car. We run the Valinos now. I ran them in the rear or in the front already on Drift Week 2. Now we also run them in the rear. Very good tire. You get a lot of laps out of them. We had a lot of tracks where you needed to look after the temperature. The interior of the car, it basically has an energy seat. It's got some nice billet brackets that Chelsea sourced. It's got the handbrake by Excessive Engineering. That's actually very local to this spot. I also always have this tire pressure gauge with me in the car because it's important to me. Yeah, so the handbrake is pretty sweet. As you can see, I use it to put the key in there, so I never misplace that. It's a separate setup. Like I've plugged that a lot on my channel because I like that. It seems legit setup. Extra caliper by Willwood, and yeah, so that's the car. It's not much modified on it. It's done very well. Like, I think this is proven to be a very good concept for Drift Week. And yeah, that's what the car is like. That's what we've done to it. Big thanks, of course, to Chelsea the Nova and all my guys over at Wisefab, over at Feal, Chase Base, It Seems Legit, the boys of Volt, who make this financially happen. So yeah, super happy with this car, and rapidly turned into one of my favorite cars.